Let's get started. Okay, guys, how are you all doing? And welcome to episode 4 of BH Live. So today's going to be a little bit different than my normal lives because I'm interviewing a guy called KYLE Maxwell, who's a 22-year-old serial entrepreneur aspiring to become a well-known music executive, speaker, and successful businessman in corporate America. Now, originally, I was bringing Kyle on my live to talk about entrepreneurship. However, after a long conversation, we both decided that we wanted to use this platform to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement. This will be an enlightening, informative interview that we both hope will educate, and I'm glad you've all come on to join us today. So Kyle is currently a CEO and a chairman of Max, a media and entertainment holding company, and CEO of Heart Music Entertainment, an independent hip-hop record label and advertising agency Vivo Media Group. Kyle's worked with numerous people in both advertising and entertainment industry with both his companies. Alongside marketing teams affiliated with Republic Records, Warner Brothers, Vivo Media, serving clients with Universal Music Group, representatives, and a various of other clients in Los Angeles, Berlin, Germany, New York City, and around the country. Kyle acts as a music agent while branding and promoting their artist music with his management under the label Brand. With over 1 million views and 20,000 plus followers across his social media, Kyle's been featured on multiple media outlets including WR-DE, Coast TV, and DMV Music Plug, Music on the Dot, and Quintessential Magazine, and more. So I'm going to invite Kyle on now to say hello, and hopefully by the magic of technology, he will appear without any hiccups. Let's hope so. He's coming on now. 3, 2, 1. Kyle, man, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm very good. How are you finding it in lockdown?
You know, I'm not even paying attention to it, man. I'm getting shit done.
Thank God. Well, listen, we've only got an hour on this because Instagram likes to cut us off early, and I've got a lot of questions for you today.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, mate. Thank you so much for coming on. What time is it over there?
So 11
in the morning. Okay, well, it's just gone 4 p.m. here over in the UK. So,
that's great.
For the first part of the intro, I want to do it in 2 parts. So for the very, very first part, I want it to be more educational. So I want you to assume that I'm a completely ignorant white person. I don't have access to Google. I don't have access to any educational service whatsoever. So I'm completely new to this. It's like a new thing. So I want you to talk to me as though you're educating me for the very, very first time. For the first 4 to 5 questions. Okay?
Sounds great.
So first off, let's get straight in with what is racism and how does it affect you on a daily basis?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people think that, racism is something that we can jot down on a piece of paper, or something that it's like a tangible thing. Racism, like the racism that we endure on a daily basis, it's on a much minuscule level. It's the little things that matter. Like, going inside of an elevator and just feeling that, like going inside of an all white elevator, for instance, and just feeling that pressure, or going to if you going to a job interview and having to lessen down your blackness, or say use less contractions, or appear to be more educated because you're trying to talk like a Caucasian. Just the little things like that, I think, make a bigger difference. Not like the guy staying on top of his truck saying, using the N-word. Yeah. That's like the hyperbolized version of racism. And that's the kind of stuff that we can deflect. That's the kind of stuff that we can say, oh, well, that guy's just a moron. It's the little things that matter. It's the little bit of racism. Yeah. Like not hiring someone because they're black. Like not working with someone because of their skin color. The little things like, ignoring that person, or dry hating on them, not giving them an opportunity because of their skin color. That is how things affect us in the real world. Not the people that with the Confederate flags and the people that are saying or using racial slurs. That stuff is not affecting us at all. It's the little things that are preventing us from attaching the big things. That's how I think racism is, and how it affects me. I mean, it affects everyone. And to be honest, racism affects white people even more, because it automatically gives them that stigma. Like I'm automatically going to discriminate against someone because they're black. It creates things where we have to over diversify in certain situations because of people that discriminate against people. So let's say if you're running a company, and let's say if you go really big and you sell to someone, you go IPO, and now you have to implement a diversity program, and now you have to hire people, and now this is a big old thing. So that's how I think it affects on a much bigger spectrum. Not the people that are using the words and and then people that are just acting like, ignorant fools. That stuff doesn't affect us at all. It's a much minor thing that affects
Yeah.
on a bigger spectrum, in my opinion.
Okay. I'm going to literally shot through these questions because we've got the main bulk ones coming up later, which I think you're
Yep.
going to answer some of the questions that are popping into my head now.
Cool.
What is systemic oppression and racism?
So systemic oppression and
I had that
racism.
too.
That is kind of like what I just said. It is the idea of it's the system that was made to appease to one demo and to disadvantage the other one. So an example of systemic oppression would be, kind of like I'm gonna take you way back, like the
Okay.
Jim Crow laws. Jim Crow laws, for example, these were a set of laws that said I was not a human being. I'm three-fifths of a human being. I cannot drink at the same water fountain that you can drink at.
Yeah.
I can't go to the same bathroom that you can go to. I have to serve you. I'm not equal to you. That is what systemic oppression is. And how that translates to 2020, that is the discrimination. That is the subtle racism, all the subtle things
Yeah.
that people cannot see, that people
Yeah.
can't tangibly, type down on a piece of paper or put on a PDF and show it in front of someone and say, oh, this is how it's affecting X, Y, and Z. It's the little things. So the systemic oppression, that is police brutality, for example. I'm getting more information every single day.
Yeah.
It's just the idea of that black people are targets.
Yeah. Well, Joe, I was reading an article yesterday, so it's really interesting you say that
Yeah,
you were talking about the subtle things that
yeah,
really have the impact. And there was an article that I was reading that basically said a lot of kind of white or non-black people don't know they're doing it because they've been brought up in a family where it's the norm, or they've been watching TV where it's the norm, or media where that's seen as the norm. So, there's plenty of words that were used in the past that were normal and it was fine. And then as
right.
time's gone on, people have started to educate themselves. It's a non-PC thing now, but it still hasn't reached the far
Right. And
corners.
I see a lot of people that are, not saying that you are, for example, but I know a lot of people that are kind of scared to talk about this.
Yeah,
They say that. They say, oh, well, we just been brought up this way,
yeah.
or
Not an
it's always
excuse.
been that. It's always been that way. Like if you grew up around, rapists, and they, rape
Right?
people, and
Yeah. Still
it
not
just comes
okay.
to a point where your ignorance, you have to take accountability for your ignorance at one point or another. Especially when your ignorance is coming at the expense of someone else's
Yeah,
liberty and freedom.
exactly. What is white privilege?
Oh man, yeah, you asked me that question the other day.
I
I give
did.
you a perfect answer. White privilege is the freedom to be ignorant and not have to hold yourself accountable to be ignorant. For example, white privilege is this the privilege of being white. It's kind of like a self like defining term. So I'll take you back to I think what I told you about. Let's just go way back to when the white people drew lines. They drew red lines on the map, and they decided where people would live, where the high funded schools would live, where the low funded areas would live. White privilege is just the compounding privileges since we were on
Yeah.
plantations until now. So since I was serving you and my family had nothing, my family was ripped apart. We were raped. We were beaten. We were spread all over You were spread all over. We had no access to education. We had no access to food. That stuff matters, and a lot of people try to dismiss that. Oh, well, that was 400 years ago. Anyone can make it. Oh, y'all people, we had a black president. That's not necessarily like that. We're coming from 400 years, over 400 years of an oppressed system that was purposely put in place to set us back. We were
Yeah.
already set. I don't know if you ever seen this great YouTube video. It was a bunch of kids that got up and they were meant to race. They're all going to race. It was a mix of black people, white kids, and Hispanics, a whole lot of different minorities, and they were meant to race. And the guy at the end, he was like, "Okay, take a step forward if you have both parents at home." And I'm sure you can imagine, 90% of the whole
Right.
entire line stepped forward. Then they said, "Okay, take another step forward if you know your father." You can guarantee another huge group of the kids that stepped forward. The black kids were all in the back. Some of the white kids were already at the finish line. two questions in. So
Yeah.
that whole entire thing was to show that, hey, you guys have a step forward in life
Mm.
because you know your parents, because you have both parents, because you had access to private education,
Yeah.
because you had access to better housing, better this, better that. You
Yeah.
are physically a step forward in life.
Yeah.
That was to show them that this is white privilege. Turn around. Look where the black people are at. We're back here waving like, hey, like we're back here. That's what white privilege is. It's
Do
the
you,
privilege of just being ahead,
do you know what
not necessarily from what you did, just from
no.
how the system has benefited you.
It's funny because you said you gave a perfect answer the other day. That was 10 times better. That
Yeah, I
analogy
try to
was
I
just
try to save
brilliant.
it for this. Yeah.
I'm keeping that one for the next time I get asked. What's the difference between being not racist and anti-racist?
So I think when people say I'm not racist, I think that's kind of like a way to, not get attacked, but also not take a side at the same exact time because people are so scared. Because people see it. The minute you say something, like the second you say something not right, or the
Yep.
minute you say something, you're done. Your history.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are scared to take a strong side on this. So they say, "Oh, I'm not
Yeah.
racist." So they're kind of dismissing what's
Mm.
going wrong,
Yeah.
but they're not necessarily taking a side. And I
Yeah.
think that's probably the most dangerous where you could be.
Yeah.
Being half pregnant on something, like
Yeah.
you have to take a side.
Mm.
And I'm not judging you. I mean, yeah, I totally understand. I get it. But when people say, I'm not racist, it's not enough to be just not racist. You
Yeah.
have to see that that's fucked up, and you also have to actually try to do something about it.
Right.
It's kind of like you're an accomplice to a crime. It's
Yeah.
like you see someone getting killed, but yet you didn't call 911.
Yeah.
So when you see someone getting killed, that's saying, "Oh, I'm not a murderer." It's not enough for that. Why are you just going to watch somebody getting murdered and strangled, but not call the police or
Yeah.
not take action or not? I'm not saying go run in there and be Superman, but at least take some type of action. So when people say I'm not racist, they're just being an accomplice to a
Yeah.
crime.
We just had a question from someone watching. Is there a
Cool.
link to that video? Basically, we'll dig out the link and I'll post it when I post the video onto YouTube and
Hey,
put it in the
suck
description.
suck Faye, I will give that. I'm gonna screenshot this. I'm gonna send you that right video.
Perfect. And send me a link as well
That's
and
a
I'll
great. It's a
put it
great.
under.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to
Yeah.
you too. It's a great video. Really open up my eyes.
Absolutely brilliant. And the last kind of dumb person question is
Man, none of these questions are dumb, man.
no,
Like,
no, I mean,
everyone.
the last
Yeah,
question
I
I'm
get it.
asking from a point of view of I know nothing.
Okay.
As a white person, how can I help?
Lewis, what's Gucci? As a white person, how
Yeah.
can you help? Like I told you, every effort. I'm gonna take a step back. We have to stop, you know, dismissing people's efforts.
Yeah.
That's not enough. That's not enough. The NFL posts a
Yeah.
apology about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. Oh, that's not enough. Oh, they need to formally apologize. Oh,
Right.
they need to give him his salary plus interest. Like people are like every effort, like every effort is enough.
Right.
I'm a type of person that I just want to see you at least try to address it. The best you can do with your followers, the best you can do, even if like just you asking me something about racism
Yeah.
it's better is if you went tomorrow and started a nonprofit for minorities in America and you like that everything's the same. Every little piece that we can get,
Yeah.
every little inch that we can
Yeah.
move forward
Definitely.
from being not racist to being whatever the opposite is, just normal. I mean, I don't even know what the hell to call it.
Right.
That all helps. Just you opening up a book,
Yeah.
you googling who the hell is Jim Crow. Everything matters.
Just look for information. Just actually ask the questions. Okay, so let's get on to the main questions. So
Let's go.
this is the bit I'm excited for. So
Hmm.
the Black Lives Matter movement started in 2013 after George Zimmerman's acquittal for shooting to death Trayvon Martin. In the more
Yep.
recent past, we have heard about the horrific murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. However, this is not a new thing. Why do you think it has taken so long to gain so much traction, and why?
See, the thing was, a lot of these deaths happened during the whole Corona thing, and I guess the police departments and the government's excuse was, oh well, we were so distracted, or we were so this, or we were so that we hadn't had time to put a lot of focus on these cases.
Yeah.
except for Trayvon Martin. That happened a while ago.
Yeah.
I think what took us so long for this to happen. I think that first of all, I think everything happens for a reason.
Mm.
You know, since we were in the house, since we were in the house, we couldn't go anywhere. We were stuck on the internet. We had to pay
Yeah.
attention. We had no choice but to see this shit.
Right.
You know, like if let's say if there was no corona, there was no nothing. We were out. We were at the beach. We were doing this. Nobody would know who the fuck George Floyd was. I'm saying. I'm
Mm.
just openly saying that no one
Yeah.
would know who the fuck that was. But yet, because we're so captive in the house, because we're so open, I think this is why this happened. This year really opened up a lot of people's eyes. And I think what took so long was that damn, like people were saying, wow, if I was outside, if I was at work, if I was doing something like this, I would have never
Mm.
seen this. Let's try to do something about it. And
Yeah.
like I said, this was just the year. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. No one predicted this. No one would have knew this.
Yeah.
So I think that it just happened over time. I mean, people are
Yeah.
just were just fucking tired of it. I mean, how many more videos do you got to see? How many more murders do you have to see in the street for it to click inside of your head that one demo is not treated as the other? I don't know if you know Ben Shapiro.
I don't
He's like
know.
a really he's like a really great I think he's a politician. He's a debater. He has his own podcast show. He's like a really like fast talking. If anyone knows Ben Shapiro, you guys know what I'm talking about. He made a pretty interesting point. He said that just the sole fact that our statistics, white, black,
Mm.
and dealing with police brutality, just off of the sole fact that they don't match, shows that there is inequality.
Yeah.
The end.
Do you know,
Doesn't matter if
it's
there are. Go
no,
ahead.
I was going to say it's crazy because so many people were talking about this year as a write-off. As you know, there's just it was supposed to be the year 2020. Everyone's going to smash it, and then this
Yeah.
happened, and everyone obviously turned around and was like, "It's going to be a write-off." And there was a great
Right.
quote from Gary V, and I can't remember word for word, but it was along the lines of, "Don't write off the year that you finally woke up."
Yeah. He said, "Don't cancel the year that
That's
woke
it.
you up."
Don't
That's what he
cancel
said.
the
Yeah.
year that woke you up. And I just thought that depicted everything perfectly because things do happen for a reason. Like obviously, I'm not happy about the virus and lots of people are dying from it, obviously. But
Yeah.
if something good does come out of it, then great. Then it happened for a reason. I'm a
This,
huge
this
believer
was
in
the
that.
year. This was the year that woke everyone up.
Yeah.
We had our. There's also a great saying. It says like we make
Mm.
a plan and God laughs.
Yeah.
So we had
Yeah.
this big old plan that I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah.
Not so fast, champ.
It's crazy, right?
Boom, global pandemic. Boom, a civil rights revolution. Like this stuff needed to happen. I
It's
believe 2021 is gonna be the best fucking year ever.
Oh my God, like this, because the world is going to change so much, with the Black
Exactly.
Lives Matter movement, with coronavirus and coming out of it, how we need to be as people, how we need to act, what we need to do going forward, everything's going to change. But from an entrepreneurial point of view, there's so much opportunity right now,
Most
which,
definitely.
yeah, like if you're thinking right, like I'm already thinking about investing in face masks. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna blow up. All right, cool. So moving on with the questions is, since the Black Lives Matter movement has hit the headlines, has your opinion or standpoint changed or altered in any way?
Mm, yes and no. So before all this, before I really became political within the last 2 to 4 weeks, I was strictly just business. I just want to do business. I just like music. I'm not gonna even open my mouth about this. But I woke up and I was like, shit. It's like I guess I have to say something about this because it matters. I have a voice. I have an audience. So how it changed for me? Well, I thought Black Lives Matter was. I thought that was just a way of saying, all lives matter.
Mm,
But until I seen, that's how I felt about it.
yeah,
But until I seen how people got offended by that, I was like, okay, why? How come when we say Black Lives
yeah,
Matter, you feel some type of way about that? We're not saying that. Oh, you suck. You don't matter. We're just
yeah,
saying that all lives matter. So not until I seen the backlash from that statement
yeah,
that opened my mind to say, oh wait, maybe this is why we're saying this because there's people that get there is one person that can get offended by us saying this. So obviously, prominently, this is something important. This is
mm,
something that needs more attention. And people come back. All lives matter. Oh, everything matters. I had a good friend. He made a video. He said, if I asked you, Brendon, you like ketchup?
Actually, I ran out today, but yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't say, "Oh, I love all condiments. I love ketchup. I love, I
Mm,
love mustard. I love barbecue sauce. I love, I love horse." You wouldn't say all that. It's a fucking yes or no question. Do
yeah,
you like ketchup?
yeah,
Yes, yes, I like ketchup. So the simple fact that you wouldn't respond saying, "Yeah, I love all condiments." That's just showing that you don't like ketchup. You obviously don't like ketchup if your first instinct was, "Oh yeah, well I love mustard. Well I love this, I love that." There's a good analogy going on that
yeah,
if a house is on fire and we're saying, "Oh, let's go put this fire out," and the house directly next to it is not on fire. "Oh, hey, what about my house? My house matters. This fucking house is on fire right now. We have to take care of this." "Oh, so you're
yeah,
saying my house doesn't matter?" No, we're not saying your house doesn't matter, but necessarily your house is not burning to the ground right now.
no,
There's a different house, there's a different people, there's a different demo that needs a certain attention. And I think the people that are saying that this doesn't matter, or I matter too, or it's not
yeah.
all about you, those people are just advertising their ignorance. They're advertising their white privilege. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I can't wrap my hand around it because I'm black and I don't get it.
Yeah.
But only someone that's racist, only someone that's a bigot can understand that. I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
No, well,
So that's how that matters to me.
yeah, well, there's the analogy we're talking about the house burning is one thing we spoke about the other day, and you kind of missed out a little bit was that what people have got to get is the house that burning is more important right now. That is the thing
Yeah,
that's on fire. You know, you said if the other house had grout or the other house had termites or whatever it is, that can wait till later. At the moment, this is the thing that needs to be dealt with now, not
right.
when it gets worse and worse and worse, and then all the houses catch on fire.
It's
So,
about
yeah,
people's inability to empathize. I
perfect.
100% agree with that.
Yeah, there's actually there's a comment that came up a minute ago I didn't have time to read. It's prior the evidence wasn't unequivocal or damning as George Floyd's murder. We witnessed the murder right in front of us, and no one did nothing. Shit. Sorry, I didn't know if that was a question or not, but I thought I'd read that out.
Yeah,
You've actually answered one of the questions I've got later, so I've just got to mark it as answered.
cool.
But I'll re-ask it and see if you want to elaborate on it.
No
In
worries.
1964, Malcolm X said, "Education is a passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for today." Why do you think it's taken so long for that to really take effect in society?
I think it takes a while for people to really address big issues, no matter what. I mean, just look how long it took for America to adjust to the coronavirus. President Trump, he was getting warnings from this since January, since fucking
Yeah,
late December about this. And a lot of times, people, and I'm not making excuses for government officials that are
no,
put in place to be
it's their
responsible,
job.
but I'm saying that, people procrastinate, and sometimes we don't address issues until it gets to the last point.
Yeah,
We kind of, and I think that's really happening because our society is we're so like bombarded with stuff. We're so bombarded with information. We're so bombarded with a lot of hate and this and so much crap going on at the same exact time. It's hard to get at everything as soon as it happens. And I think another thing, if it's a black person, it gets overlooked. It gets, "Oh well, it happened, or they had to done something, or they were a criminal, or they were did this, or they were did that." I read something up that a mayor in California, he just resigned, or maybe he got fired. Maybe the wording that he got resigned instead of going to say he got fired. But
yeah.
he said that no person of color, no good person of color, has ever been killed by police. Just the fact that
Yeah,
someone like that in power says something like that
yeah,
is condescending. It's scary.
yeah,
It's important. So I think that not shit hit the fan. Like I said, this year shit just hit the fan.
yeah.
It's kind of like if you're in a relationship and you just have that big day where it's like, wow, fuck you, like you took like it's like you just can't take it anymore.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah, me
Brilliant.
too. That's why I went there.
To everybody out there that probably can relate to
That's a
everything you
different. That's
just
a different
said.
interview. That's a different
Yeah,
interview.
we'll do that one next week. So, moving on to the next question. After slavery was abolished, black people continued to be marginalized through enforced segregation. Do you think there is still elements of this in 2020?
Just to correct you,
No, go.
segregation was abolished, not slavery. But
No, it's fine.
and this just to say that when segregation is abolished, like the word abolish doesn't mean completely getting away. I think the word abolish, they use that word. I think they use abolish to water down, to dilute.
Yeah.
There's still a sense of segregation that's still going on right now. And it's still happening right now. Segregation exists like subconsciously. It's our subconscious fear of intertwining, two different races. Like for instance, like if I'm going to, I've had this happen to me multiple times. I don't know if it ever happened to you. It probably does happen to you. If I'm going into Starbucks or something, there's Starbucks in the UK. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure,
yeah.
right? Okay, all right.
Loads.
Yeah, if I'm going into Starbucks and if I see all white people, the second I get that they're all staring at me, or they
Yeah.
don't, I'm being racially profiled. I'm out.
Yeah.
It's a suffocating feeling that they're looking at me. They're looking through. They look through you, Brendon. They're not even looking at you. They're looking through
I get
you.
it.
Like this is some nigger walking in our restaurant. Who does he think he is walking in here? That is how segregation, I think, exists today. And it's just like you. If you were going into, you guys have Popeyes,
Say that again.
Popeyes, Popeyes
Popeyes,
chicken,
no.
KFC.
Oh, we got KFC. We got loads of chicken shops. So KFC,
Okay, cool.
Morley's,
Yeah,
Chicken
like if
Cottage. Yeah.
you're going to like a chicken shop and you go in there and you're pulling up to the drive-through and you hear loud music, you hear you see black people,
Yeah.
and you go inside and you just see a bunch of black people, they're all acting crazy. You're automatically going to leave. I think that's how segregation works.
Yeah.
Because I think it's our racial profiling, how we're viewing the other people, and how we're automatically saying, okay, so I'm not in a safe place. If I see a lot of black people and I'm the only white person, I'm not in a safe place.
Yeah.
If I go in here and I see a lot of white people and there's no black people, I'm not in a safe place.
Okay.
I'm struggling to realize why that still exists. Why do we feel so uncomfortable when we're the only person in one setting? It shouldn't be like that.
No.
But it's because of the prejudices. It's because of that.
Yeah. I think it's the inherent prejudice and it's the fear of the unknown. And if you're not comfortable there, then
it shouldn't be like
exit. Well, it's funny actually. You talking about this because back in the day, I'm older than I look. I got into hip hop quite heavily, so I actually trained as a ballet contemporary dancer, and then realized that wasn't for me, and I started studying hip hop dance. And I remember the first class I ever went to, and I was the only white guy in the room. Didn't care. And short version is someone called me a cracker. I had no idea what that meant. I didn't have a clue. I just went, okay, like carried on, did the class, carried on. And then it was later on that I asked one of my friends, one of my black friends, what does cracker mean? And then she told me, and she was livid. But it wasn't, I just didn't get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that kind of goes back to the ignorance of it. I didn't even know what that meant. I didn't have a clue. I had to go to someone else and be like, why did I get called this?
Jay, what's good?
Yeah, but it's all right. I smashed the class. I got picked at the end, and then suddenly everyone was my friend. So
yeah,
there's a happy ending to the story, I promise.
And that's why I said, at the beginning of the talk, that's a hyperbolized version of racism. Oh, you cracker, oh this, you that, using derogatory terms.
Yeah.
The reason why that's not that, I don't consider that racism at all. That's just ignorance. It's
Agreed.
because he's ignorant for calling you that, and you're ignorant for not even knowing what the hell it is. So I think the racism lies really deep beneath that.
Yeah.
Racism wasn't him calling you that. Racism was, oh shit, I'm the only white person in here. That's where the racism was.
To give you an idea of time, this was, I think, before Facebook.
Oh,
so
damn.
we're going back. Like, this is...
I was probably a nucleus when this happened.
you were little. All right, cool. Moving on to the next question. So, Rosa Parks said, stand for something or you will fall for anything. Today's mighty oak is yesterday's nut that held its ground. And that really couldn't be more relevant right now.
Right.
Like, why do you think it has taken something like a social media trend for this conversation to finally get started and be pushed into the limelight?
Because nobody gives a fuck until everyone gives a fuck.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Just like how I said, don't be a witness. People were different back in the day. When someone seen something like, or you crossed me, like, motherfucker, it's on. Like, we're fighting right now. Now it's like, let's say if you and I were out in the public and we were getting in a fight, our phones would come out. There would be TMZ there. There would be like paparazzi there before we even swung at each other. So I think now, social media has really gave us an avenue to like PR a moment.
Yeah.
And to, promote a moment before it happens, like it's some fucking pay-per-view or something. But back in the day, things were just ticking. You know, when she was on that bus and they told her, oh, you have to give up your seat, she fucking left.
Yeah.
If that happened now, this will be on the internet. She would go live. She would be saying this, that, and third. She would be doing all this craziness, things like that. You know, back then people just took a stand and boom, that was the decision and just went with it.
Yeah.
And I think now social media has really opened up for a lot of cowards to have a voice. Open up for a lot of people that are just not about that life to have a voice. And I think what she meant by that is just just don't be a witness. If you don't stand for anything, if you would sit there and watch if you would watch someone, let's say this, if you would stand there and you would watch someone get disrespected, not harmed, not they didn't touch them or anything. If you would stand there, if you would be a witness, just watch someone get totally disrespected, like they're calling that woman all types of names, a bitch, this, that. If you would watch that, you would watch someone get fucking killed.
Yeah.
So if you would stand for that, you don't stand for anything. It's about morals. It's about integrity.
Yeah.
And I think that's completely non-existent in society today.
Completely agree. We just got a comment in, and I can't click up the comments, and I'm somehow flicking my camera around, so that's great.
So it's not about social media trend. It's about blatant injustice. Social media is just the current propagation vehicle. Dude, you should have been interviewed because this guy been dropping gems all day. I totally agree with that. It's totally the propaganda vehicle. And I think that, it's sad that we didn't care about this until it was on IG.
Yeah.
Sad.
And the next question, which we both thought was probably the most important question so far, is a lot of white people really struggle when it comes to talking about Black Lives Matter, as there is a lot of trepidation about saying or asking the wrong thing and then being labeled a racist. What would you say to these people if they want to help but have a lot of fear about getting involved?
And you see, that's the thing. I think us as Black people, I'll say this: it's not our responsibility to educate you guys. Just saying, you happen to come across a decent one, but I will say this: we have to at some point, create like an open, we have to get open with ourselves. My sound just went out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you just dropped for a second, so go back 5 seconds. Yeah.
Anyway, we have to create, that environment where we're open to everyone's opinion. We can hear someone without, it's not a witch hunt.
Yeah.
We can hear everyone's opinions and we can help. If someone's ignorant, don't bash them, educate them and help, because at the end of the day, we're trying to come together, right? So what good are you doing by pushing everyone out that wants, why would you push that one guy that actually wants to know?
Yeah.
Why would that one guy had the balls to come up and say, well, what is it? Well, I don't see it. He had the balls to even say it. Why would you push him out? That's another white. Because at the end of the day, the white people want to see the white people with us. It's not going to take 100 Black people for them to change. It's going to take 100 Black people and one white person for them to change. They're going to say, oh shit, our own kind is even saying that that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want to get myself. You were being racist if you're not willing to have the conversation. It's the inverse. Yeah, totally agree. I don't remember your question, to be honest, but I think that we should really create that environment where we're not just totally bashing people. I don't know of how at the NFL, how much you know about the NFL, the players and Well, there was a famous quarterback, Drew Brees.
Okay.
He plays for the New Orleans Saints, and he was on an interview with Yahoo Finance, and they asked him about racism. They asked him about how do you feel about. There was a player a couple of years ago that during the national anthem he took a knee. So while everyone else was standing up with their hand on their heart, he took a knee. He did that to be specific with you. A military veteran told him to do that. So let's just get that out of the way. That's where he got the idea from.
Yeah.
Drew Brees, he was asked about that recently, and they said, "How do you feel about that player that kneeled?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't agree with anyone disrespecting the flag." Da 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 da. He didn't address George Floyd. He didn't address Sandra Bland. He didn't address Ahmaud Arbery. He didn't address Trayvon Martin. He didn't address Michael Brown. He didn't address Ed Garner. He didn't address anybody. He just said, "Nope. If you disrespect the flag, I'm not agreeing with it." And that, Twitter annihilated this dude for saying that. Everyone does not like him just because he said that. And I think white people see that and they say, "Oh, fuck that! I'm not
Yeah,
saying, I'm not saying."
it creates fear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it creates that tension where I can't even speak my opinion. I can't even say
yeah,
anything. And now Drew Brees, he's making it even worse. He's now
yeah,
apologizing. He's now changing his perspective. He's now saying, "Oh shit, well that's not what I meant."
yeah,
Now he's now just coming off not
yeah,
genuine. Now he's totally canceled.
yeah,
And I think that white people are seeing that and they're saying, "Shit, I don't want no part
yeah,
of it." And
exactly.
that's where in the silence of that is worse.
Yeah,
That's the one that has an opinion. We're silencing people that have a great opinion, that
yeah,
have a great story to tell. Just because we're condemning people for having a different opinion.
mm,
I think that's wrong. I'm not saying Drew was right, but how
no,
we treated him, how we stoned him, like literally
yeah,
virtually stoned him just for having a different opinion, that's taking us back to
yeah.
like fucking BC when we used to stone people just for having a different opinion. We used to kill a woman for talking or getting like shouldn't be like that.
So do you think that that's kind of the problem with social media these days? We all know that the smallest of thing can blow up in a matter of
Yeah,
minutes on Twitter, Instagram, whatever social media it may be. And so people are just generally scared that if they say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, or whether it's wrong or right, it doesn't matter. If they say something that can provoke a negative reaction, then it's, I suppose a lot of people just go, well, it's easier just to not get involved. I'm just going to stay out of it. But with the
yeah,
Black Lives Matter movement, there is so much pressure now for people to be involved. And I've
right.
seen people being put on blast on social media, and
I
whether it's
think that
fair or unfair, but
yeah
being on
we're
blast for
we're
saying nothing. So,
right.
yeah,
We're almost turning into I'll just say this. I have nothing against the LGBT community. I have nothing against them. I have partners that are lesbian. I have
yeah,
nothing against them being whatever you want, whatever you do, you do what you do. I think the Black Lives Matter movement, we're almost turning into the extremist LGBT community. For
okay,
instance, I don't know if you see it or not. Anything you say, oh, you're homophobic. You can say anything, and oh, you're homophobic. You're homophobic. Oh, you're transphobic. Oh, you're genophobic. You're this. You're all this. You're this phobic. You don't like me because I'm black phobic. Like everything is being attacked as
yeah,
this phobic. Everything's being attacked as if you say one thing. Oh, you're racist. If you say well, oh, you're racist.
yeah,
It's turning into a witch hunt.
yeah,
And I
and
think that it shouldn't be like that at all.
no,
Because at the end of the day, we're defending ourselves
yeah,
because we have a different opinion. So how are we going to bash someone for having a
yeah,
different opinion and tell us to take our opinion?
yeah,
That's the most hypocritical nonsense ever. There's a lot of people out saying a
yeah,
lot of things. I'm going to read
yeah.
some of the
Go on,
comments.
read some of them out.
Although this should be happening all over the world at the moment, we all know the amount of support that everyone's putting to take over. Everyone gets together. Hell yeah. I believe this is a separate issue, and it relates to one ability to handle fear and a confrontation because the issue relates to anything, not just racism. Totally agree. Personally, I stand for everyone, and it's crazy how the situations that are happening changing the world. Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff is bringing a lot of shit to light.
Yeah,
It's bringing the bigoted people to light. It's bringing the hypocritical people to light. It's definitely bringing the racist people to light. I kid you not. I witnessed the most disgusting video I've ever seen in my life
okay,
yesterday. This white guy was on live and he was saying, "Oh, like black people are stupid or dumb, they're animals. Oh, everyone's saying Black Lives Matter. Oh, Black people don't fucking matter. They're fucking animals." Like, like what, dude?
yeah, and
Like
it
just to
go
hear
on.
him say that. Anything, black people, we're different. We don't look at that and we don't get mad. We look at that like, what the fuck? Like
Yeah,
we're such a different creature. We don't attack hate with hate. Most of us, we attack hate with empathy. We're
yeah,
forgiving people. We understand.
yeah,
Jesse was Gucci, my guy in here. We address it a totally different way when we see racism. We're like, okay, that guy's fucked up.
yeah.
Now, on to the next one. We don't even take it personally. We don't take it this. We don't take it that. We just look at that like, okay, well that's God's problem. That's how we look at it.
Sweet.
But it takes a special person to look at that and say, because that's wrong. It takes a special person especially a person of the same color, to look at that and say, okay, that's wrong. There are people in his life saying, oh, I can fall asleep. I can fall asleep to the sound of your voice. Like, what the hell is going on? this is really bringing to the surface a lot of fucked up people
Yeah.
that are crazy in the head.
There's
And I think by the end of this year, we all just gotta stand together and
there's a
seeing all these
question come
different
in.
videos. Yeah.
I would also like to hear your opinions on one, black consciousness, two, black culture, and reparations.
I would like to hear your opinions on one,
There you
black
go.
consciousness, or two, black culture. Okay, black consciousness. Uh, I'm not too sure what you mean by that. I'm just gonna take an inference. Are you talking about the consciousness of that we are oppressed? Or are you talking about the consciousness of
Those
our
who
power?
talk about black derogatory, I can't see it. Sorry, I need my glasses.
Those who talk
Derogatory are
about black
insecure and have an inferior and
derogatorily
superior
and
complex.
insecure and not insecure. We talk about black people derogatorily and are insecure and have an inferiority and not a superiority complex. We talk about black people derogatorily. Oh, I understand exactly what you're saying. You're talking about the coons. Hey, Don was Gucci. Oh my God, you're in here. He's talking. He's talking about the coon. He's talking about the coons. Basically, that like a coon is like the Uncle Tom.
Right.
Like that's the black guy that takes the totally opposite side, and he says, "Oh, it's not white people, it's black people. Black people are racist. Oh, black
Right.
people do this. Well, if black people weren't so ghetto, that it's this." He's talking about the black person that takes the master side,
Right.
and they're called the back in time they're called the house Negro.
Okay.
I'm gonna inform you now.
No, you are. I'm
Someone called
learning as you're talking.
it's
This is why
called
I'm staying quiet.
there's someone called the field Negro. The
Yep.
field Negro is the black person. He's the woke person. He's the person. Oh shit, we gotta get off this plantation, man. They're trying to kill us, man. Look, I got a plan. At 12 o'clock tonight, we're gonna fucking run. We're gonna do. That's the field Negro. The house Negro is the person that's inside, and I'm wiping your ass. I'm giving you food. I'm reading you. I'm not reading, but because I can't read. I'm doing your chores. I'm cleaning your house. I'm fucking eating your scraps, off the fucking floor. And in the house Negro, they feel emotionally connected with
Yeah.
the master. That's the idea of, wow, I can't believe that you're not making me a slave. That's the idea. They're automatically they feel sympathy for you, and they're calling you. You appear nicer because you're not whipping and beating them,
Yeah.
but not understanding. Then here's where the black consciousness comes in. Not understanding that whipping and beating someone is a complete inhumane act in the first place. So the idea that I'm in the house with you and I'm doing all this good stuff for you, not realizing that this is just another form of slavery. Me being in your house and me catering to you and me doing all this type of work, that's no different from me out in your fucking plantation picking your fucking plants and working for you. It's the idea, and a lot of things happen. So the house Negro and the field Negro, they often clash.
Right.
The field Negro is constantly trying to wake up the person in the house and saying, "Look, man, you being taken advantage too. Just because you're in the house, just because you're working at that white job, just because you're in a suit and tie, just because you are best friends with your boss as whites, just because you have mostly white friends, does not mean that you are don't you think in a blink of an eye that they will say something racist to you. Don't think in a blink of an eye the minute you do something black, you're fucking done. Don't think in a blink of an eye the minute you say something, Sherman, what's Gucci? The minute you say something that is not what they like, that they will not kick your ass to the curb the minute you say something. So I think, there's a lot of tension between, black consciousness, and we have to wake up the people that are constantly trying to make excuses for all this injustice going on right now.
Yeah. Sweet. So, moving on to the next
Yeah.
question. So, earlier you touched on the difference between All Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter and the burning
Yeah.
house analogy and so on. The question I have is, there is an opinion that Black Lives Matter is a political conversation and many people don't want to get involved with the politics. Do you believe this to be true or false, and why?
I'm sorry, repeat that one more time?
Yeah, no probs. There is an opinion that Black Lives Matter is a political conversation and many people don't want to get involved with the politics. Do you believe this to be true or false, and why?
That is a political conversation. And I believe that people don't want to get involved with that is because they don't want to appear as if they don't care about other people's lives. It just comes back to how people are interpreting that phrase. And I think the sole fact that people are hearing that and they automatically disagree with it, they have some type of opinion on it, I think that of itself is just showing how important it is, in my opinion. Someone saying that Black Lives Matter, if that bothers you or that sparks up some type of different, if that creates a, or that creates a, well, don't all, like, just because
Yeah.
the sole fact of someone having something else. How you doing? I said different opinion because of that. I think that's what makes it so important.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't want to get involved because they don't want to look like they're against something.
Yeah.
They don't want to look like they're against anything. So what they would rather be in the middle. They would rather be pull to the left, pull to the right, pull up and down, and just be a complete mess rather than take a stand on something else. That goes back to the Rosa Parks quote.
There's someone just put a really good comment in. Politics is a reaction to real life.
Yeah, totally.
Nailed it.
When people say, I say all the time, I'm not a politician. When people say I'm not a politician, all politics is just a big discussion about what's right and wrong. That's it.
Yeah.
Life.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they don't want to get involved because they don't want to turn to a Drew Brees. I don't give a damn if I turn to it. I mean, I speak. Look, before this has really been on the surface, I've been speaking my opinion about everything. I talk about everything. Yeah. I don't give a damn, because I think a lot of people, they're scared because they can't answer questions fast and they can't defend themselves. I'm someone I'm like, my words are like, I have an arsenal of words, dude. Like, if you want to come at me, to be my guest, I can I can defend my point. I'm not hollow. I'm not transparent. I'm thorough. So I'll give you my viewpoint. I'm not scared to of the repercussions. I'm not scared of the ramifications of having a viewpoint. A lot of people don't. A lot of people stay behind Twitter and they type their thumbs away.
Keyboard
they have
warriors.
An opinion. Yeah. But that's it. That's all they can do. So when they get that backlash, they shut down. So I can whip up a camera and say, "Hey, Sarah _64. Let's have a real conversation." I can take it to another dimension.
For the record, that's a made up name. So if you're listening on the podcast, that's a made up name.
Yeah, sorry,
Just
that's
in case we end up targeting someone. So how do you think TV and media have played a part in encouraging racism, or do you completely disagree and they haven't?
How do I think? Who?
How do you think TV and the media as a whole have played a part in encouraging racism? Or do you completely disagree and they haven't?
Very, very good question. The TV, the media, the news, like, they love negativity. Like, negativity is cocaine to the propaganda, to CNN, to ABC, to all. I'm talking about American networks right now.
Yeah.
These people don't understand. They did the same thing with the virus. They do the same thing with riots. They do the same thing with pollution. They do the same thing with Ebola. They did the same thing with everything. They blow up negativity because that's what drives views. There's a reason why you don't see much coronavirus on the news anymore. There's a reason why that just totally just switched.
Their ratings were doing this with the coronavirus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, people were starting to open.
Yeah.
States are starting to, go into their phases of opening. They're like, shit, we need that next terrible thing to talk about. So that's why this is being pushed so much. And it's during election year. It's during a whole lot of things, the census. It's during a lot of things that are going on. And the news and the media, they blow everything up.
Yeah.
They don't show you. I can show you. I can have links. I can show you. In journalism, as humans, we all have agendas and biases. Exactly. But the thing about that is the far majority of the people that have agendas and have biases are for the destruction of the country. So, and you're not seeing the people. You're not seeing the cops that have taken off their uniforms and went to go march with people. We're not seeing a lot of that. We're not seeing the cops that are kneeling with the protesters. We're not seeing the black policemen, finally confront their white managers and their white supervisors. We're not seeing a whole lot of good things.
Yeah.
We're not seeing all that. All we're seeing is the destruction, the looting, the targets being burnt down, the precincts being burnt down. That's all we're seeing. We're all seeing negativity.
Well, it's really funny because a very good friend of mine went to the protests in London yesterday, and we were talking about it after, and she said what an amazing experience it was and how incredible she felt being there, and the atmosphere and everything was incredible. And then I turn on the news this morning, and all they're focusing on is the people who hurt people, the people who created damage, the police officers got hurt. There was nothing about it being a successful protest. And the 99.99999% of the people were there peacefully just to protest. All they focused on this morning was all the bad things that happened. And unfortunately, that's what people are going to see this morning when they wake up.
That's what sells. That's what sells. If you turn on the news and they said, "Oh, nothing to see here. We're all good," there would be no news.
See, you say that, but I would so listen to that news that tells me about all the amazing things that are happening
Yeah,
in the
you
world.
would, because we are the far
Feed me
minority of
positivity.
people.
I wanna suck that in.
We're the
Yeah,
far minority of people that actually want to hear something great. A
yeah,
lot of people, it's crazy. A lot of people narcissistically want to wake up
yeah.
and feed into seeing something bad, is because they're feeling something bad inside themselves, and the only outlet to complain and the only outlet they have to get all of that out is to look at the news and say, "Oh my God, this world's crazy."
Yeah,
That's the only opportunity they have to do
yeah,
that. It's sad.
yeah. At least that's not
Yes,
happening in
there
my
is.
life, right?
Uh, Remnants, I want you to look up Revolt TV.
So what
It's
was
a
it? Can you read the
black
question
owned.
out for us? What was
Oh
the
yeah,
question?
but is there a black only TV news? Not necessarily on TV, but it's kind of on the internet. I want you to look up Revolt TV.
Cool. And I'll try and put that in the description below if you're watching on
Cool.
YouTube.
And there's many more than that, but that's like the only one I can think of at the time.
Sweet.
Revolt TV.
So there is a lot going on in the world right now, which we've discussed with the coronavirus
Hell
and
yeah.
the Black Lives Matter movement, along with umpteen other things. Do you see any major correlation between the coronavirus and the Black Lives Matter?
Oh hell yeah. I think that the coronavirus mattered. It mattered when it started. Social unrest mattered when it fucking started. And I think when both of those things got onto the brink of, oh shit, there's 100,000 cases. Well, not everyone has it. One black person died. Oh, well, not every cop is like that.
Yeah.
A couple months later, oh shit, there's 500,000 cases. Shit, oh well, we're still okay. We're still all right. Two more black people. Let me get here. Ahmaud Arbery gets killed. Well, he had to have been doing something. He was just jogging. He had to have been doing something. Let's fast forward. Okay, now we're in quarantine. Now we're locked down. Oh shit, this is real. George Floyd gets killed. Oh shit, racism really exists. It's
Yeah.
going back to the same exact thing. We don't see it until it's in our face, until it's so blatantly there, until to the point where it's like,
Yeah.
it's either this or nothing. Like
Yeah.
like it has to get talked about right now.
And like you said, everybody's at home, everybody's watching the news. That's all they're doing all day. They're not distracted by their day-to-day activities, their day-to-day routine, their jobs. And so all they're seeing now is what's being pushed out on social media. So it's
Right.
literally here now, and you can't ignore it anymore because it's just there.
Right. I'm struggling to understand. You said, do Africans versus African Americans react differently? Do you mean?
What do you
mean?
mean? What's your opinion on the Black American experience and the African American experience? Do Africans versus African Americans react differently? If so, how? I think what he's saying is, but maybe I'm wrong, if you're from Africa originally and come to America, or if you're born in America. I think.
I
Tell
have
me
no
if
idea.
I got that right.
I mean, probably, but if so, that's the question. I have no idea how African things come into this country. I mean,
Yeah, maybe something for you to look at and then post
I
it
have no
about on your
idea.
channel. Yeah. Okay, so I've come to sorry, they followed up to experience of racism in the USA.
I think anyone experience, no matter where the hell you're from, if you're experiencing being oppressed, I mean, that's an experience.
Yeah.
You can't feel it until you go through it.
Yeah.
Like I can only imagine how difficult this is for you, Brendon, talking about this kind of stuff, because you've never. I mean, besides being called a cracker that one time, there's something that you've never had to fucking deal with.
Well, this is the thing, I'll be honest with you. I was very nervous about this because I've seen people who have tried to do a good thing online and maybe use the wrong hashtag or use the wrong terminology, and people have attacked them. So there was a certain degree of fear from me that was like, what if this goes the wrong way? It's crazy.
I want to make a great point here.
Go.
So let's go back to before Facebook was invented.
Yeah.
You recall that word.
Yeah.
So when you recalled that word, you had no idea what it meant.
Not a clue.
A, you had no idea what it meant.
Mm.
Second, you didn't really think that these people had a bad intent.
No.
By that word.
Nope.
You weren't necessarily in fear, were you?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool. And that completely did not change your perspective on black people.
No.
The same exact happens with us.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
That's the first time you encounter it. This is where the black consciousness comes up. The first time you encounter it, let's say if you were in a group of,
yeah,
you're in school.
Yeah. From Newsy.
Am I here?
Just a heads up, we've only got 1 minute 50 seconds left before it cuts us off. And I've got one
Oh,
more
okay,
question
cool.
for you. So
All right.
wrap up what you were saying and then I'll ask you this last question.
Oh yeah, just like if you were in school and your white friends were saying, "Oh my God, you speak so well, like you're so educated." Oh, thank you.
Cheers. Yeah.
It never happens on the first offense.
Yeah.
So when they called you a cracker versus when they said I'm so well spoken, that's how it works.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen until you really start
Yeah.
seeing it.
Cool.
That was my point on that.
Yeah. Right. Last question, and we've literally got a minute. As a serial entrepreneur, what struggles have you faced because of the color of your skin?
No,
None.
because I don't.
Best answer so far. Yeah. That's so good.
Entrepreneurship is the beauty of it. You work with who you want to work with.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm
Yeah.
not at the mercy. I'm not at the mercy of having to get accepted by someone or having to
Yeah.
do this or having to do that. I work with who I want to work with, and
Yeah.
it's a numbers game. Like I work if I do my research on my class before I want to work with them. If I can sense that they don't like working with black people or they don't like this, they don't like that, I don't gotta work with them. So
Do you know,
I don't really experience.
I was going to say
experience a lot of
the
it.
great thing about entrepreneurialism, it's such a new thing. And, Gary Vee
Yeah.
is one of the people that I follow a lot, and he's done a lot to push entrepreneurship as a career. And I think
Yeah.
because it's such a new thing, it comes with new values and morals of more of the modern day society. And so, I think you're right.
Money wants to make money.
Right. We've literally got 20 seconds, so I'm going to do my best to fit this very quickly in. Guys, this will be a YouTube video and a podcast, so if you're catching the end of this, you can go back and rewatch it. If you haven't already, go and follow Kyle on his Instagram, and I'm sure there's loads of information on there. You can learn as much as possible. We've got 4 seconds left. So massive thank you, dude, and I'll see you in the next one.